this is what we're going to be working on. These are ex-nursery trees. They came from a garden centre. They were 6 to 8 foot tall, but unfortunately they'd lost the labels, and they can't be sold at the garden centre without labels. So what they did is they chucked them all in a large heap, like a compost, and they were starting to just die and rot away. I picked them up cheap in these pots as they are, cut them back to 1 foot. I've left them 2 years, and we're going to see if we can get anything out of them. They're getting, some of them have got, as you can see, they've got a nice thick trunk, and they're getting some nice nabari on them. There's apples, there's plums, there's pears, there's a variety. There's quite a selection there to go at. So hopefully we can see what we can do with them. I'm going to take a couple in a minute and just show you how I'm going to cut them back and work on them, and see if we can get some smaller tree out of them, and see how we get on. They didn't really cost anything, so again, nothing to lose. Right, I'm in the workshop. I've brought 2 or 3 trees from outside in. I thought what we'll have a go is have a look at them, see what we can do with them. And they've not been deliberately grown as bonsai originally, so you've got to just make do with what you've got. But they do have some character, and it's good practice material really. It's give you something to do, bit of enjoyment, and you never know, you can sometimes get a decent tree out of it. So let's see how we get on. We're looking to see if we've got a front to the tree or any shape at all, what we can see. As you can see, that's very straight there. We've got a branch coming up here. We've got a branch coming off here. Now there's quite a bit of growth here that looks quite good and healthy. What I might do is, I'm just throwing some ideas out there, we could actually eliminate that whole piece and start again here, and hopefully, I don't know if you can see in there, but there's quite a good nabari on this tree, so we could actually maybe take it right down and work on it there, or look at this as the tree, but again it's a little bit straight, so it'd probably have to be cut and worked on later. So big thinking processes involved, and that's what makes it difficult. Let's get rid of some of these weeds first, because there's some bindweed getting tangled around it there, and this is a nuisance, this stuff, it gets everywhere. So let's just clear a bit of, I don't want to start going down into the root system today, because obviously it's wrong time of year, and I'm going to wait till winter time when we can work on the roots, where we can get them out the pot and see what they're like. So let's see what we've got. Yeah, it's a thinking game really. It's a matter of deciding what you want to do. But at the end of the day, I've got nothing to lose. Like I said, they did cost me next to nothing. So yeah, I don't like that. That's too straight for me. So that's got some growth there. So what we could do, because it will backbud, they're good at backbudding these. It is a plum, so it's that's quite a nice bit there. So to be honest, I might just get some of this dead stuff off here. Let's just cut it away and see what we've got. And cut back. I want to cut that back there. And again, it will backbud. I am being quite brutal, I've got to be honest, but this is how I've been doing it, and this is how I seem to get the best out of them. It's got quite a lot of nice little growth here, so we need to take out the middle one there. Sounds quite promising there, you see. Right, what I've decided is this main trunk, the main stem, is actually died off. It actually rotted off. You can see it's died off. There's no new growth on it, and it's probably died off to sort of 3/4 of the way down. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take this out. I'm going to cut it completely out, and I'm going to work on this possibly as the new trunk there, and the new apex coming from it. Might be this one, I don't know yet. It's a little bit straight, but I'm going to carve all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting that one side for another day, for another project, because I don't want to start cutting them up at this time of year. So that's that one. Here's an apple. Again, let's see what we've got. A lot of weed growth. What we've got here, I've just noticed that this one, it had one of its roots growing from the side of the trunk. So as you can see, I'd cut that off probably sometime last year or whatever, and it's actually rotted off now. So I don't know if you can see inside there, it's just there. So that's not really doing us any favours. There's still quite a good root structure down there, but I think it'll be even better if I dig further down into the pot. As you can see, I've got a bit of an option here. This is all going to be carved. We could use this as a branch. We could take this round. We'll have a look. We're going to decide which ones we're going to use, you see. But this has already got quite a nice bit of shape. So really what this just wants doing is, I'm just going to cut this back because I don't want them too tall, you see. I don't like them too tall. So if we cut some of this growth out here, it will also help it back bud. That's getting a little bit straight actually, so I'm going to cut it off even further and force it to back bud even more. So that one's, yeah, that's got possibilities, that one. So we'll have a look at the next one. I just wanted to show you something to consider. If you're actually going to go get this kind of practice trees, let's say, or whatever from garden centre, consider the leaf size, because that's the thing about fruit trees. The leaf size, it's difficult to get them down in size. This is one I had earlier on that I did, potted up. Needs still a bit of work, but I like it because it's different, because it's actually a quince. But you can see by the size of the leaves that, you know, you struggle to get them down in size. So, but that's got some fine work to do on it, some carving, and it's in a training pot, so it's not too bad. But here's one to consider, a plum. They've got nice small leaves, and these leaves are getting smaller. So that's to consider, that the plum will actually leaf down really well. I'm just going to spend a few minutes on this one that I brought in. It's a plum, and as you can see, this is where it was cut off before, and this is a secondary lower branch that I left, and obviously I'm planning on using that for the main tree structure. So I already have cut that off, but I wanted to leave it on just to show you quickly what it did look like. So as you can see, I've just opened it up a bit more there. What we'll do is we'll get some more carving on this later on. I'm going to leave it for now, but as you can see, the trunk, it's got so much character. Absolutely looks really, really good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out this pot, and I'm just going to have a look at the root structure so we can see what kind of shape of the tree we can work, so we can find a front, see what the root structure's like, because like I say, it's potluck with some of these, and sometimes the root structures are terrible, other times they're good. So what we'll do is we'll take it out the pot, and then we'll see what it looks like. Yeah, so I'm just getting in, clearing off this topsoil first, see what we've got underneath. What I'm going to do is I'm going to either repot it and wait, or I might put it in a bonsai pot. I'm just going to have a look first and see what it looks like. It all depends where these roots are going and how far down they're going. See, I don't like that one that's coming out the side there, it seems too high. There's some smaller ones there, so they'll probably be going to be gone. It's just a matter of getting in and poking around and seeing if you can feel where the roots are. There'll be some stronger and heavier roots, more main roots further down. As you can see, there's another one there I've just come across. I don't know if you can see it there. It's going down quite well, this. It's settled quite deep in the pot, so unfortunately it was to one side of the pot, so the root structure at this side won't be as wide, but it could work to an advantage because you could actually get it in a smaller pot then if you wanted. Plenty of fine fibrous roots there. I'm going to take off these higher up ones. I've decided because they'll just in the way, too high up there, because I want to get more of a feature in the trunk there, so take them off. And that one there. And that one there. Now the problem with this is, because it was growing so close to the pot edge, the actual one of the roots there's dropped straight down. I don't know if you can see there. It's gone straight down there, one of the main roots, so I'm going to have a look at that, so we'll see what we can do with it. It's just there. As you can see, because it's been in the pot how it has been and the roots have grown round, they've just gone round in circles, so unfortunately there's not really much there that's worth saving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off lower down there and we're going to see what it looks like. Okay, so I've taken the roots right back and obviously I've cut through the bottom, and as you can see I've gone through some quite thick roots there. Don't be shocked or surprised, I've done this quite a few times, in fact a number of times, and I've never had one that hasn't recovered actually yet. So as long as it's potted up, which I'm going to do shortly, I've got a training pot here that I'm going to put it in, so it'll be in there something like that. So I'm going to pot it up and then we might do a bit of wiring on it. Just a quick one, what I like to do is put in a bit of mycorrhizal fungi. Even though it's only a training pot and it's on its way, I still like to put a little bit of mycorrhizal fungi in. And also what I do is when I'm placing in my tree and bedding it round, I just like to pour on, just gently tap on a little bit of rooting powder, just to sort of give them a boost. Okay, so now it's in the pot. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a bit of quick pruning on branches and bits what I don't need. I'm not going to do too much to it because obviously what I want to do is I want to leave it till later in the season, let it recover in the pot. I'm just taking off this branch here because it's a downward growing branch, so I'm hoping that if we can just get some of these taken back, it can back good a bit there. I've not quite decided what I'm going to do with this yet regarding the front of the tree or the shape. I'm going to carve this like I said, but obviously this branch will be wired down, this one will be there, that branch will be there, so we'll get some shape and structure to it. What we've got up top then is we've got our apex growing from where I'd pruned it previously, but then we've got a thick branch here and another secondary one at the back there, so obviously I'm going to have to decide which ones. This thick one, there's not much chance of getting any movement in that at all, so what I might do is I might use this as an apex, or I might use this back branch as an apex and take it off there. I've not quite decided yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it to recover in the pot, get it watered, and then we'll have another video later on when it started to recover, and you better see that taking that large amount off there has actually not really done it any harm. I actually decided to put a bit of wire on these lower branches just to give them a little bit of a bend and shape. I've not done anything up here yet because I'm still undecided which one to take out or which two to take out. I'm going to leave it for a while and let it recover more before I start hitting it any harder up the top. Like I say, what I'm just going to do now quickly is I don't want this branch here because it's parallel with the other branch, so I'm taking it off, and I was using it to hold the wire in place there, so that can be cut back later. Now what's left is just to give it a good watering, and I'll do another video later on showing you what I've decided to do up the top here, and also you'll better see the same tree to see how it's recovered. So thanks for watching.